Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf and I want to welcome you back to Get Your Ex Back Complete Guide Part 1. In this Part 1 guide, you're going to receive information about where we went wrong, how you ended up here, the universal human need, relationship essential nutrients for women, and relationship essential nutrients for men. Greetings! So, it's Dr. Jamie Turndorf again, also known as Dr. Love. Welcome to the first video of a 5-part series that outlines my 5-step program for getting your ex back. These videos do not explain the entire program in detail. They are designed to give you an overview of the program so you can decide if it makes sense to you and will work for you. Of course, along the way I'll reveal much about my method and you will learn many things, but these videos still cannot possibly substitute for the breadth and depth of the entire program. In fact, I don't recommend just trying to take what you can get here and applying it. A little bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing, and without the rest of the program, the exercises, the deeper explanations of key principles, the dialogues, how all these steps fit together, etc., you're just not going to get the full value and force of the program. If you like what you're hearing, I recommend you order the entire kit. So now first, where did we go wrong? The first step of my program is not only the one thing that most people want to do, but shockingly the one thing that many popular ex-back methods recommend avoiding. So I put it first because they are just dead wrong, and because you just can't set out to fix something if you don't know why it broke in the first place. In all my years of practice, I have never seen denial and avoidance help a couple or an individual. In fact, they are often the problem itself. I don't mean the individuals, I mean the denial. Avoiding a problem doesn't get rid of it. The problem just festers beneath the surface and erupts again later, often worse than before, because the act of repressing and suppressing and holding it down simply feeds it and makes it stronger, like a rotten piece of cheese that you stuck in a dark corner. Either your ex left or you left for a reason. You have to get to the core of that reason and then turn it around, or you're just not going to get anywhere. Now, the universal human need. Beneath all the superficial reasons for the breakup that you may have heard from your ex, or even have stated yourself, there is a hidden universal cause for all relationship failures. This failure lies in the failure of both parties to meet certain fundamental needs of human nature and to understand the elemental dynamics of what pulls human relations together in the first place. Personal likes and dislikes are just expressions of these needs and drives. Rather than get caught in the surface details, in this chapter we go straight to the root of the problem. This understanding of what creates relationship bonds in the first place is then used to guide the rest of the method to put your relationship back together. Makes sense, doesn't it? These principles are like nails or the glue that you need to rebuild your relationship with. Next, we talk about relationship essential nutrients. Now, instead of thinking of a relationship in terms of building, think of it as a living thing, and then ask yourself, I don't understand this sentence, Eric. I'm going to have to try to restate it in a way that makes sense to me, so I'm going to do a redo. Instead of thinking of a relationship in terms of a building, think of it as a living thing, and then ask yourself, what do all living things need to survive? Answer, they need to be fed the proper nutrients. To satisfy or even feed this universal need I've described, we need to provide it what I call relationship essential nutrients. Like your body, a relationship thrives when it is fed these nutrients, and it dies when it is deprived of them. Once you realize what these relationship essential nutrients are, you will quickly see what's been missing in your relationship all along. Generally speaking, these nutrients are different for men than they are for women. Relationship essential nutrients for men. It's important for men to understand this about themselves, as it is for women who are trying to keep a man in a relationship. It's important to realize that what a man needs from a relationship is very different than what a woman needs. And no, I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about psychological needs. In this chapter, we go into depth concerning male needs, primary among them being to act in the world, and what women need to do to satisfy and validate this need. Here we also get introduced to the concept of old wounds and how needs not met as a child can interfere in the present relationship, both with a man's ability to express his need and a woman's ability to meet them. We do also discuss the fundamental nature of the male sex drive and how women can keep a man from straying. Relationship essential nutrients for women. As before with men, it is important for women to understand this about themselves, as it is for men who are trying to encourage a woman to come back into relationship with them. While male and female needs may be different and conflicting in some areas, these differences are also complementary, meaning they are not always in conflict and do fit together and create a working whole. For example, if men are wired to be providers and protectors, a woman is biologically programmed to find a mate who will provide and protect her. Yes, these are generalizations that some people might think don't describe them, but they are working rules of thumb that have been proven to describe the deep unconscious drives and motivations of the sexes. In this chapter, we'll go into depth concerning female needs and drives, primary among them being to nurture, and what men need to do to satisfy and validate this need. We do also discuss the fundamental nature of the female sex drive and how a man can keep a woman happy and at home. Conclusion: going to the root of what went wrong does not mean looking for someone to blame and getting caught up in the he said, she said arguments about who's right and who's wrong. It's about going past personal, superficial grievances to the universal heart of what's required to form relationship bonds to begin with, and understanding that all of our complaints ultimately derive from not having those requirements met. My assumption is, in fact, that if the relationship failed, then both parties had some hand in not meeting each other's needs. It's not about pointing fingers at each other, but about taking responsibility for yourself and learning these basic principles so you can provide these relationship essential nutrients to your ex. Both men and women have to understand how their needs are both different and how they are complementary and fit together. This chapter is first because these principles form the foundation upon which any relationship is built, and they provide the nuts and bolts as well so that you can go forward to rebuilding your relationship anew. The rest of the method, too, is built upon redo. The rest of the method, too, is built up from these basic principles and, in fact, are just expansions and applications of them, since at all times your goal is to rebuild a relationship. You have to understand how one is put together first. You obviously didn't build it right the first time, did you? This is the place you absolutely must start. Anyone who tells you different may be saving you the effort of having to think and feel a little deeper, but that is really no favor when going deeper and expanding your mind and heart are what is required. The study and application of these principles also begins the processes of self-growth and self-empowerment that this knowledge gives you, which are vital to the rest of my method. That concludes step 1 of my complete guide to getting your ex back, taken from my new book, Make Up Don't Break Up, which is part of Dr. Love's Relationship Rescue Kit. I hope you enjoyed it, and it's opened your heart and mind to new hope and new possibilities. Thank you, and stick with me because we're going to be talking about part 3 very soon. Oh no, redo. Thank you for hanging in with me, and I've enjoyed talking to you. We'll go on to the next part in a moment. Oh, and by the way, if you want more information about Dr. Love's Relationship Rescue Kit, click on the URL that's on your screen or on the Buy Now button. Thank you, and I'll be talking to you again soon.